All right, everybody. Uh, Coming in today. It is Saturday, uh, the 27th. Yep, Saturday the 27th. Coming in today to do the chart markups for the next week. So, um, some of you are going to notice that my charts have changed up just a little bit. Um, this makes it easier for me to read. Doesn't uh, put too much on my candlestick charts. Basically, what I've done is I've put my TPOs and session volume profiles on a separate chart with no candles, um, just to separate those from my candle charts, so my candle charts don't get as crowded um, and are a little bit easier to read. So I really like having these separate now, um, and this gives me a three chart layout. Uh, for those that only have the essential package, and it can only do two windows, you may have to keep your session volume profiles if you use them on one of your other charts. Um, if you do and you can only do two windows, what I have is a 30-minute chart for my session volume profiles because that's what they work off of, and TPOs. I have a 1 hour chart, which right now is on the daily, and I have a 5-minute chart for my entries. If you can only have two charts up on your uh, subscription, then I would say instead of the 1 hour chart, do a 30-minute chart and a 5-minute chart, and that way you can have your session volume profiles up, and all the calculations will work correctly since they are based off of uh, 30-minute windows. Um, so this this is really going to help. Mainly what I use are the value area levels from the session volume profiles and these white bars, which are the initial balance on the TPO charts. I can expand this a little bit till we get to the point where I see the TPO value areas, point of controls, the open and closing price, um, which is a good thing to see. Uh, Probably during trading, I'll have my chart open to about this size so I can see a couple of previous volume profiles as well, and uh, the current day, uh, and go from there. So really liking this setup because, as you know, I like to keep my charts as simple as possible, and putting these on a separate chart definitely simplifies my candlestick charts where I want to watch price action and VWAPs. So um, I do have a 33 and a 65 moving average on this chart as well. That's the only indicator. Only other indicator I put on this chart, um, and I'll explain those down the road. Just started working with these two. I'm always trying new things that I learned from experienced traders, very successful and very experienced traders. Um, if any of you know the name, Chris Cady uses these two indicators on a 30-minute chart. Um, saw a video with him in it this weekend, so I'm just going to throw these up since I could put them on this chart over here just to watch and see if what he explains, see if I can catch what he explains how to use these two indicators. Um, so, and then on the 1 hour chart, I currently have it on the daily for a reason. On the 1 hour chart, I have the 5-day simple moving average. I want to keep track of that. And I'm just now starting to mark up this chart. So this is the year-to-date VWAP anchored at um, January 2nd, the first trading day of the year. And then I want to go back um, to April 1st, and I want to add a monthly. I have not actually added the monthly, so I'll save this as monthly. Okay, and we'll keep that locked in place. And then, since we are starting a new week, I want the previous week's um, weekly VWAP. So we'll go back to Monday, April 15th, and we'll throw on a weekly VWAP there. Then I will keep that on um, through next week. All right. So we have the yearly, we have the monthly, and we have the weekly. These are single VWAP lines. I'm not doing weekly highs, lows, monthly highs, lows. Just strictly, I want to know where the VWAP, the single VWAP was from last month, last week, this year. So I just mark these on a daily, um, and that's all I do for my longer time frame uh, VWAPs. So now I can move this chart back to the 1 hour, and we have all of these VWAPs. Now there is one other one. I don't really call it a long time frame because it is the 2 day VWAP, and that is this VWAP right here. Okay, so go back to uh, that's Friday. That's not far enough back, right? We need Thursdays and Fridays. So I'm going to move this to the first candle on Thursday. If I can find it. Thursday, Wednesday. Okay, first candle on Thursday. Let's move that VWAP there. That is our 2 day VWAP. Okay, covers Thursday and Friday, and that will work. All right. Also, point of note on my 30-minute chart with my session VWAPs and my initial balances, I keep this chart on regular trading hours. I only want to know the New York session on this chart. Okay. Um, that way I can identify gaps maybe that need to be filled, so forth and so on. All right. We did, we opened down here, so we had this gap from Thursday to Friday, and on Friday we went all the way up and filled that gap. Okay, so uh, keep this on regular trading hours only. On my candlesticks, I do have them on electronic hours, so I get the full 24-hour price action on that. And I want that because of the longer time frame VWAPs. I want to include all volume in the market, including the London and the Asian session. Okay, so once we have all of that, the 2 day, the weekly, the monthly, and the yearly, and our 5 day moving average, now what I want to do is I want to mark out my swing highs and lows. Okay. Phone's ringing. Uh, so right now my swing high is up here. We broke structure on the way down, so the highest point between this low and the break of that low, the break of structure, is right here, and that's where I'm going to put a swing high VWAP. Okay, and that is just swing. Those are red. Okay, and then I want to mark my low. We had a nice pullback here, so I can now consider this a low. Well, no, I can't. We haven't broken structure, so this is still an internal low. Uh, my actual swing low is down here. When we broke structure from this high, the lowest point between this high and the break of structure is my swing low. So let's throw a swing low right here, and we will lock both of those in place because we're not going to be moving those until swing structure actually gets broken. Okay, um, so since I'm not going to always go back that far to see where swing structure is, I'm going to put a horizontal line at the bottom, and I'm going to go into settings, and I'm going to mark this red for the low. I'm going to put on text for the top right to say swing low. Okay, and we can move the text, make that text a little smaller. Don't really need it that big. And we'll keep the text yellow, nice, easy to read. And then we will save this as a template. Swing low. Yeah, we'll keep it a dashed line. I usually like solid lines, but we'll keep this dashed. And then we need to put one uh, on the swing high, just in case it disappears out of screen. That's not what I wanted. Just in case it disappears out of screen while we're trading, we don't have to search for it and see when structure is broken. We will actually, I'm not going to put that on. I'm going to redo this one and go in and put swing high low. Okay, template, save as, uh, swing high low, save. Okay, and then I want to go into templates here and delete my swing low because we're going to use the same template for both the high and the low. Okay, and you may say, well, how are you going to differentiate? As far as I move my charts, they will both be on the screen. So, um, if I happen to lose one in my trading, all I have to do is move price to the middle, squeeze down until I see the other one, and I know where we're at. Okay, so that works for me because I will typically have my charts expanded just a bit just to make things easier for me to see. And I want to keep all of my long-term VWAPs in screen. And I know this is a swing high going into next week. All right. Now, I also want to put on my what we call internal structure or internal swing, highs and lows. So if this is our swing structure, any highs and lows that happen inside of this low and this high are our internal swing structures. Okay, tells us what's happening inside of this swing. Um, just for a quick reference, I mean premium and discount pricing always matters when you're looking at the bigger swing. And what we can see is If we go from high to low and we move this over, you can see that we passed the 50% mark, went down to the 618. This is discount pricing from the high because it's more than below more than the 50% marker. Okay. Um, and then anything above the 50% is premium pricing. People are paying higher prices up here, discount pricing down here. So we went into discount pricing. Buyers saw a value here and took it back up, started buying in discount and drove it back up into premium. Okay. Not going to leave that on there. We just know, actually, I think I might have, let me see if I've got one. Because it is good to know. And on the 1 hour chart, I don't mind having a few extra things. Let me see if I have a discount. Premium discount. Yes, there we go. All right. So we know where the premium discount line is. Um, and that can also a lot of times act as support resistance because it is the 50% marker on the fib channel as well. More people look at it than just premium to discount traders. Um, you know, there are other people looking at that fib as well for the retracements. So we'll keep that up. Always like to know where the premium and discount is. You know, for uh, rejecting at one level or the other, or reversing at one level or the other, we can kind of look. We come down, we reverse in discount. We can look to take it up to the premium line. Um, we did our reversal here uh, at the swing high and came down to uh, discount pricing. We could have taken a trade from here to here. Obviously, it's more than one day, so we couldn't. But you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. Um, all right. So internal swing highs and lows. So right now, my internal structure, we have a low here, and I have a template for internal swings, which is the dark blue line, and our internal swing high right now is here, as we have had a little bit of a pullback um, on Friday. Okay, so now we have our hourly internals swing structure, our hourly swing structure, and our longer term uh, SMAs or VWAPs. Sorry. All right, that's all we're going to have on this chart. Um, that gives us good reference points uh, to look at, and I like it. I like it a lot. Okay, awesome. So, uh, what have we done? Um, you know, we've reached down into premium, uh, made a higher low on the swing. Now, can we expect to come all the way back up and make a higher high? Or do we just make a lower high, make a lower low, not breaking swing structure, and just kind of work our way back down into discount pricing? Um, that's that's possible. Um, until we get down towards the low, then we either break it or we bounce off of it and we start working our way back towards the high. Um, we'll just let the market tell us what it's trying to do and how good of a job it's doing in getting there. Okay, um, so that is that for the 1 hour. Moving to the 5 minute, what I have on the 5 minute is all of the MC levels um, for our level trading. And you can see we have quite a few of those levels for the Dow. We're kind of right in the middle of everything. So we're pretty well set on those. Here, the indicators I have is the 5-minute 200 and the 5-minute 50 simple moving averages. Um, I may move those to exponential. I've always had them simple, but I'm kind of liking the exponential moving averages a little bit better. Um, I also have ATR, which tells me, the average range of the candles, not the average range of the asset on any given day. This tells me the candle range. Um, I also have uh, ATR that's based on the daily movement, average true range of the daily movement of the Dow. Right now, we're averaging 470 points per day. Friday, we only moved 300 points of that, which was 62% of its average daily range. Even though this says ATR, I look at that as average daily range. This ATR I know, is my candle range. Okay, so when we ended the day, the average for the day was 15 points per candle. Okay, is that a correct measurement? Uh, that's 36 points. That's one of the larger candles. Uh, and then, our smaller candles are 20 points. So, yeah, I'd say that's pretty well correct. Um, Not that I distrust the indicators, uh, but, you know, always nice to look and check. Um, so, those are the only indicators I have on the 5-minute chart. Now, for the 5-minute, I will pretty much do the same. I want to look at my swing highs and lows. So the last break of structure we had was to the upside right here. So the low between those breaks um, is this candle right here. So I'm going to put a swing VWAP right there. All right, and this will be our high, which is right up at this level. And I will put a swing VWAP up there because we've had a decent pullback since we broke structure. So I will consider this the high. All right, so that's our swing structure. We also will be putting internal highs and lows um, inside the swing structure. Okay, so right now my internals, my last high was right here, and that will be our internal swing, and our low was right here, and that will give us our internal swing highs and lows. Okay, um, I cannot get to that one. I hate it when it does this. So then I gotta stretch the shit out. It still doesn't let me touch it. What the hell? There we go. Alright. Okay, so we've got those taken care of. Um, oh, okay. It looks like a dot. It's just the bar. Alright. And that's all I'm really going to put on this chart. Okay? Um, because that's all I need on the 5-minute chart. Alright? So then we work from here. Now, if you've looked at the charts that I posted before, like in the middle or towards the end of the day, you'll see this big bunch of VWAPs stacked up all over the chart. I'm going to stop that because I don't like that much clutter on my charts. So when I get to a area where I am thinking about taking a trade, and let's just find one if we can. Um, let's go back. I know there's one back here somewhere. Uh, we follow price. Okay. Um, that's not it. Where did you go? Oh, where did you go? You're like, damn, dude, you ever take a trade? Oh. Well, we'll just say right here. So, um, this isn't my setup, but we can use it as an example. Um, you know, I see price break a level, it rejects. Um, I can put on an intraday. Um, oh, I guess I need to make my intraday, huh? No, cancel that. Settings, style, and we're going to turn these orange. And we're going to save as trade anchor VWAP. Okay, so these I will only be using when I see a setup to take a trade and stay in a trade or exit a trade. And then once that trade is over, I will be removing these VWAPs from the chart until I see a new setup. Okay, so um, this trade would, we fell down. We tried to break the level. We fell down. At this point, when price breaks above that VWAP, um, then I will usually take the trade at the break. I don't usually wait for a close. And the reason for that is if I take the break, then I can get a tighter stop loss. Okay. Um, so what I want to do is take the trade there so that I only have to risk the low of the candle that broke it. Now that's a 71 point stop, and I'm not going to risk that much um, on my trades. That's why I said this isn't my setup, and I wouldn't be taking this trade. But basically, I have set up a 20 point stop for the Dow Jones. Okay, and that's uh, on 5 micros. That's risking. Uh, so no clear on the minis. That's risking $100 per contract. On the micros, that's risking $50 per contract. Okay. Um, and most of my trades that actually are the true setup I'm looking for um, fit within this 20 point stop loss range. Okay. So, get myself comfy. So, um, I have my risk settings in Top Step set up for a $50 stop loss if I'm trading micros, and um, I actually have uh, a stop loss set on the YM on the Dow. Uh, I have that stop loss set at uh, $200 on the minis because I will take two contracts on the minis to enter a trade because I want to be able to scale out. 5 micros, I'm able to scale out if I want. I can add later in the trade and so forth. Okay, so we would have taken this trade. Let's just say we didn't get stopped out and we continued and we actually broke the level. Well, we break the level, we retest, and as soon as we break that high after the retest, I'm going to add to the trade. Um, you know, and then we come up and we have a pullback. Well, I'm going to add a VWAP to that pullback. Okay, we kind of dance through it for a little while before we actually push up, um, and then we chop around a little bit. Uh, you could count this as a pullback, but then after a little while, I see okay, we're in a range. Let's see what happens. We get a deep pullback that breaks the range, and then we come back up and we play around a little more before breaking. But I'm going to add, because that's a deep pullback in the middle of that range, I'm going to go ahead and add a VWAP there. Okay. I may or may not add to this trade right here. I'm definitely adding to it on this pullback. So I added right here, which brought my average price up to right around here. Um, and if I add to it here, my average price probably comes up to right around here. Um, but this gives me another VWAP line to watch, and we pretty much hold it all the way up. We get another pullback, um, but at this point we're really close to this level. I don't think I'm going to be adding up here. I just want to watch it, see what happens. We don't break the VWAP, so there's no reason to get out of the trade. We come up to not only um, the level here, but the 5-minute 200 is there as well. So I'm probably taking full profit out on that. And the original 2 contract trade would have been a 17-1. Now, time frame wise, this happened at 10 at night. We hit the level at 4:30 in the morning. That's a trade I could have held all morning long, had my take profit set somewhere around here. We may have actually gotten it hit here because I'm not taking it all the way to the level. I'm going to front run it a little bit, and we're getting almost a 17-1 trade there. And on the minis, if I had fallen asleep for the trade and had taken my original 2 contracts, risking 200, I would have woken up the next day with almost $3,400 in profit. Okay, so this is just to show you how I use the VWAPs during a trade. When I wake up, I see the profit. I'm happy, um, and the trade's over with. Now I just come in and remove those specific VWAPs that I used for that trade alone. And now my chart is clear, sitting and waiting for the next setup to occur so that I can take the next trade. Okay, the charts stay simple, um, and don't add a lot of stuff that would maybe get me to think there are entries where there aren't, and um, end up over trading. Um, so yeah. Um, okay, had to stretch that one out. Um, this week was a pretty bad week, and um, I think the reason why is I was taking a lot more VWAP trades that weren't at levels. Um, so I need to kind of watch that. I think the only VWAP trades I need to take that aren't at the MC levels are maybe if we come down to the 5-minute 200, expecting a reversal off that, is definitely something that I may look at. Um, Not so much off the 50, but if the 50 and the swing high is there and we break both above both and hold, that is definitely a trade I will take. Um, so, you know, using the more important VWAPs to trade off of, and the 5 minute 200 is okay, I think. But just every single VWAP break in between levels, I got to stop because that hurt me this week. So mainly, I'm going to be looking for trades at levels, um, and the occasional um, 200 SMA trade, or uh, like now we're below the swing low and we've been in a downtrend. Um, if this can reject and I get a break of the internal VWAP, uh, I may try a trade there, since again I'm using a uh, $50 stop loss in the micros. Um, this isn't a high probability trade, so if it was in the minis, I would take one contract, risk $100, um, and see what happens with it. Okay. Um, if I'm trading a 50K account, I will be trading micros. If I'm trading the 150K account, I will be trading the minis. Okay. Now that we have the micro to mini conversion in Top Step X, it's fantastic because I can trade, you know, as much as I want on the micros. It gives me more micros to trade than I will ever put on an actual trade. Um, so, yeah, we'll keep that in mind. All right. So that's it for my trading view charts. We have this off to the side that we'll be watching. Uh, and yeah. All right. There's that. And there's that. And then for Top Step X, we've made a few changes there as well. And you can see that there. I don't have any charts up on Top Step X. I know my risk settings. Those are the settings I want to use. Um, if I'm trading the Dow, if I'm trading, if I'm looking for a trade in any other asset, then I need to go in and fix my risk settings according to the asset that I'm looking to trade. And on a 5 minute chart, I mean, I'm going to have 5, 10, 15 minutes before uh, I can see a possible setup coming, or I see the setup, but the trade entry won't come for 5, 10, 15, even 20 minutes later. Um, so I have plenty of time. If I'm in CL, I need to come in here and change my risk settings to match CL, the type of stop loss I need, how much I'm willing to risk, knowing how many contracts I'm going to be putting on, whether dependent upon the account size I'm trading, and then how much profit I'm looking to take out of each trade. Okay. Right now I'm looking for 6 to 1 on the micros. Um, will I always get there? No. Will I get there sometimes? Sure. Um, or if I switch over to the minis, obviously I've got to raise my risk limit, um, and so forth. But that will happen, as needed. But what this does for me is I can have the YM, the CL, and the ES or the NASDAQ up all at the same time. And whatever account I'm in, especially if I'm trading micros, because remember, um, I can do up to 50 micros. Um, so if I see a trade in the Dow and I take that trade and I initiate it with 5 micros, um, and while I'm waiting, because I'm not going to add to a trade right away, I want it to move a little bit, have a pullback, and give me that add signal. I know I've got a little while, and I already know my risk settings. If it stops me out, it stops me out. So once I've got a trade on in the Dow, I can move on over to um, actually MCL, since I'm trading micros over here. Um, now all of these are micros because I will be in a 50K account. Okay, so I can come over to CL, see what's happening over there, or I can go to the MES and see what's happening over there. Um, no, not Mitsubishi. MES. And see if there's a setup over there. All the while, this trade is working. And if I decide to get into a trade in one of these other two assets, because it's setting up as well, all I have to do is place that trade. Okay, so I can be trading multiple assets at the same time, especially in the micros, and I can do it in the minis as well. I mean, I have up to 15 minis to trade. If I'm entering a trade with one or two contracts in the minis, then I've got minis left to trade in that account, and I can put it on another asset. Okay, depending on where my setups are coming from. Now, for this reason, what I have down here is my positions box. Okay, if you don't know how to add that, I mean, obviously we all should know how to add them. Just add the positions box um, down at the bottom. And that way, if I do have trades on in multiple assets, I can track uh, the movement through P&L in this box. So let's say I'm targeting $300, it gets to 250, and all of a sudden I see it down to 200. Well, if that was in the Dow and I'm looking at the ES chart, I need to switch back to uh, I really need to put the minis in here as well. I can switch back to the micro Dow and see what's going on with that trade. Do I need to exit it? Do I need to be patient? Have we broke a VWAP? Um, I think also a good way to do it, which is the way I will probably do it, is if I get into a trade in the Dow on the 5 minute chart here, um, then I may just come up here, unlock my symbols, and maybe switch this chart over to uh, the ES and put it on a 5 minute and see if any trades are available. You know, um, throw it on the 1 hour and see what the larger time frame uh, is doing. Then throw it on the 5 minute, see if there's a trade available um, or a setup available. Actually, I can't do that. I just realized I can't do that because I don't have any um, MC levels on this chart. So I'll just have to keep them all tabbed together on symbol and just switch back and forth, which is fine. Um, I got no problem. No problems with that. Okay. Where is the 5 day SMA? Wow, quite a ways above that little sucker, huh? Um, all right. Okay, so um, we still have an inefficiency to fill there, which we probably should go ahead and mark that as inefficiency. Okay. Um, and let me go in. that's going to last for a while. All right, and we're going to throw some text on there. Actually, you got to go into settings, and we'll throw some text on there, and we'll just mark fair value gap, which is what it is. Inside right, fair value gap. Okay. All right. Um, so yeah, that's why I've chosen to do my Top Step X platform with just the DOMs, because I have my charting in Trading View, uh, and my order entries in the DOMs. I don't need to see the little tags with stop losses and take profits. I'm not going to be moving my stop loss. Um, if I want to move my take profit because I think this could go higher, then I can just come in the DOM and adjust my take profit order higher through there. Okay, so that's pretty much it. Uh, this is now how my trade setup is going to be set. I like it a lot better than the way I had it set up. Um, and come next week, we'll see, what we can do better. Uh, you know, changing the charts up a little bit, being a little bit more patient, waiting for the right areas to take trades. All of that is going to get us to have a better week next week than we had this last week. So, um, that is pretty much it. If you use this system or are following me trading it, um, you know, you saw how to set up your VWAPs for the day, your longer term VWAPs on each chart. So go ahead and set those up. If you don't have a fib that you modified for premium and discount, you really don't have to worry about it. If you want one, you can literally just take the regular fib, uh, go into settings, delete everything but the 50% line, and put that up on your swing structure, and that will tell you where your premium discount line is. Um, it's just another kind of visual. Um, and this chart is probably about as busy as I want it to get now. I don't want that to change anymore. So, uh, this chart is very nice and clean, the one I trade off of, and putting on the trade VWAPs and then taking them off once I'm done with the trade will help keep this chart cleaned up and simple for me to watch. So yeah, that is it. If you have any questions on how these charts are set up, scroll back through the video, watch those sections again. If you can't figure anything out for that, after that, hit me up, ping me in the Discord, and I will be happy to help you out. Until Monday, I hope everybody's having a great weekend, and we will see you Monday morning for trading. I am not going to be trading the open, probably not pre-market, because I'm working nights. I need to be sleeping during those hours. My trading hours are pretty much going to be about 10 o'clock in the morning through to the afternoon. So I will see you guys Monday morning for trading.